Is Biltmore House as haunted as many people believe? Or does it just captivate our minds as we gaze upon its beauty that seems tinged with an eerie vibe of foreboding? Hey there, dissectors. Today we are looking at the Biltmore House in North Carolina, built in 1895, that many judge to be one of the most haunted places in America. We will look at the deaths that have taken place here over the years, as well as the many tales of ghostly sightings, from spirits seen lingering in the library to echoes of splashing water from a now empty swimming pool. This estate certainly sparks the imagination. George Vanderbilt II decided to invest a large portion of his money into building a property that would enthrall visitors. At its peak, the property was on 125,000 acres, but after selling off much of the land to the federal government so the Pisgah National Forest could be created, it now stands at 8,000 acres. With its beautiful mansion and grounds, Biltmore House was truly a place fit for royalty. And maybe this is one of the reasons that spirits have decided to stay here after death. And where better to start than with George Vanderbilt himself. He died in 1914 after complications from an appendectomy, but has been seen in his favourite place by many people over the years. While he was alive, he used to love visiting the library, especially when storm clouds were approaching, as he'd sit it out reading a good book. After his death, it seems that his wife would often venture down to the library to talk with his spirit, as she felt it still lingered there, and maybe she was right. Many people have said that when they enter the room they are filled with an uneasy feeling, like they're not alone, with some people even having witnessed George sitting quietly in a corner reading. His spirit is at least content and not causing any trouble. Besides, his doting wife Edith still appears to keep him company. She would often, while alive, come to the library to remind George that he had guests waiting for him, something that she still does, as people have reported hearing a woman whispering, "George," as if trying to coax him away from whatever he is reading. Visitors have also heard laughter, clinking glasses and snippets of music, as if a party is still taking place, lost in time. Now, maybe one of the places that celebrations would also take place at Biltmore House is the swimming pool area. This pool had a 70,000 gallon capacity with modern touches of the time, like a heating system and underwater lighting. This area has also been known to set people's nerves on edge, with visitors complaining of feeling sick and anxious while at the location. Guests to the estate have heard splashing water, as if someone is playing around in the pool, as well as laughter, which seems to resonate from the drain. The pool is now empty, so that leads many to believe that these are further echoes from the past. Some reckon that the ghostly hauntings might have something to do with a child who lost their life by drowning during a pool party that took place here. Is this child one of the ghosts that lingers? And if so, maybe that would explain another entity said to haunt the pool area, known as the Lady in Black. Is she mourning the loss of a loved one? Now, there are no documents proving that a child died in the swimming pool, and with the employees of the Biltmore House not wanting to comment, it is something that may be difficult to prove. But there appears to be many places around the house that are said to have a certain foreboding atmosphere, and the staircase is no exception. This is an area where guests have felt cold spots, smelt unusual smells, and heard ghostly footsteps walking up and down the stairs, with some visitors even seeing a ghostly apparition. Like any haunted property, there is always a creepy basement, and Biltmore House is no exception, although this one has been given the nickname the Halloween Room due to the murals that cover the walls. It is thought that years ago a Halloween party may have taken place here, as there are drawings of bats, cats and all things spooky. It's not clear whether it is the drawings and creepy shadows that scare people in this area, or whether there is something watching from within the darkness. There is a rumour, though, that a rather drunk lady haunts this space, seen wearing a flapper-style dress which dates the entity at around the 1920s. Workers have also said they've heard screaming as well as whispering voices and footsteps around the room. But what do you think? Do you believe that maybe people's minds are playing tricks on them? Being in a basement can make you unsettled at the best of times, but throwing creepy artwork and the imagination might take over. But it's not just the house itself that is said to be haunted, but the grounds also, which is no surprise when you consider that this area has witnessed many deaths. You see, in 1922, a man called Walter Brooks was guarding the gates of the property when he noticed 5 young men sitting in a vehicle parked up close by. When he went over to ask about their business, he was taken by surprise as they bluntly told him, "We're going to take the place." Believing they meant harm to his employers, he ended up killing 2 of the men, injuring a third, while the other 2 managed to escape. The result was that Walter was charged for this act. Now, in the old forestry compound, which once upon a time had been the Biltmore Forestry School, a prostitute was murdered and others were hung from within the building. The spirits of these lost souls are said to haunt the area, with many people seeing shadows and hearing whispering voices. Well, they do say that people who die a violent death tend to feel a lot of unrest and so linger on, wanting their stories to be told and maybe find justice. But in the gardens of Biltmore House, there is the ghostly apparition of a headless ginger cat, seen by many over the years. The strange thing is that no one knows where the cat came from, as there is no record of the Vanderbilts ever owning one. Also, why is the cat headless? Sounds like it would be an unsettling sight. Biltmore House is certainly a fascinating property and one of the largest private residence museums in America. So when you consider the beauty of the place, the history and the hauntings, it might be something you would like to explore for yourself. Admission to the estate varies from $50 to $85 per adult guest, as at the time of this episode's release. Kids under the age of 9 are free, with kids 10 to 16 getting a discount. And for the braver viewers out there, maybe you would like to stay overnight. There is a hotel, inn and cottages on the grounds which offer accommodation, with the hotel said to be the cheapest option, though all are said to be pretty pricey. But beware, dissectors, as there have been reports of guests being visited by spirits while they tried to rest in their rooms, so maybe sleep with one eye open.